Hi there. So I just want to make a quick video. The debate, there's a debate last night between Trump and Biden, and it worked out great. Everybody who was planning on voting for their candidate thinks that their candidate won. And at the same time, all the anarchists and anarcho-capitalists are watching on the sidelines, shaking their heads at all the debt slaves. Okay, so everything went well. It was successful. Everybody's happy. They think their person won. And Twitter's all a buzz with little snippets and whatnot. And you see Joe's wire peek out. Okay, so you've always got two realities happening simultaneously. There's always a egoic reality and a spiritual reality all the time. Now, if you enjoy politics, enjoy it. The most that you can. So in the training that I received from enlightened masters from Korea, we would be holding these poses for an hour. It was very difficult. And they would say, enjoy the pain. And the enjoyment of something painful transmutes it instantly into a less pain, less resistance. Okay, so if you can't help yourself, I do feel like a lot of people cannot help themselves when it comes to politics. So if you hate identity politics, that's fine, but that's where your resistance is. And if you're on one side of identity politics and you hate the other side, well, that's where your resistance is. And the anarchists and the people who don't want anyone to vote, the people who are trying to yell at the sheep, stop voting, you keep voting for your slave master, their whole resistance is the entire voting and two-party system and all, and then there's some spiritual people, and there's no way to cover everybody because there's billions of people on the planet. But then you got like spiritual people who are like, whoa, my God, what a waste of time, energy, and resources this whole thing is. Okay, so anyway, so that's the physical world reality. At the same time that is happening, there is a spiritual reality happening. And so there's always a larger thing happening and a smaller thing happening. And the people who are really, really in the ring, say, whether they're in the ring as a Republican or as a Democrat or as an independent or as a I hate everybody or as a I hate the whole system, all that. It's just all resistance. It doesn't matter where you land, That's all the smaller thing happening. The physical world reality is all the smaller thing happening. So you have a choice to look at what is the larger thing happening here. The larger thing happening here is alignment with your soul. Align with your peaceful, powerful soul. If it wasn't politics, it would be something else. Okay, it would, there's just, used to be religion, before politics, there was religion. And now, it's just a new religion. People fight for it and defend it and this and that, and I truly hope that I don't sound like I'm judging anyone who's choosing that reality as their priority. Okay, So, because that's fine. That's what most people are doing. That's why I'm a renegade yogi. I'm not doing that. I'm a renegade. I refuse to live like that. But if I resist it and I resist other people doing it, then then I'm not serving myself either, because it's all resistance. You know, if you look at, just if you want to, I mean, if you enjoy politics, then enjoy politics. Keep it at the highest potential vibration that you possibly can. I do know people that do enjoy politics. It's like how other people enjoy sports. I don't feel like they're at the mercy of it, and I feel like they can have conversations about it. I mean, right now, this is to be expected, though. You know, the end of September, this is how it goes. And whatever happens, whatever is happening now is just happening now. She wants you to come out. Okay, so when my mom had cancer, when my mother had cancer, or when my brother was in a coma, or when my mother was in a coma, or when my fiance was in a coma, any of those periods of time in my life, okay, that was way more important than what the circus was doing. That was way more important than what was happening, you know, whether it was politically or whatever was going on. So when you first learn how to fly an airplane, there's all this stuff to do. There's so much stuff to do. And you can get overwhelmed easily. And the way we teach, the way I learned, or the way I taught, is the alligator closest to the boat. So what's the alligator closest to the boat? Well, when your mom has cancer, or when your fiance or your mother or your brother's in a coma, that's the alligator closest to the boat. It's like you just don't care about anything beyond this person's cancer or coma, whatever. So that's my personal experiences. Same with like when I had to study. So if I had to study for any test at the major airlines, I had to be perfect. As a female airline pilot, it may not be true, but it was true for me that I had to be basically perfect, because there were people who didn't want me there. No problem. Okay, so that's what it was. So for me, if I had a test, studying was the alligator closest to the boat. It is such a luxury to worry about politics and to fight about politics. It's such a luxury that you wouldn't understand unless you were so close to somebody dying, or whatever. There's so many things where you just don't give a crap about politics. And then once you live like that for long enough, you have enough people in comas or whatever. I mean, I didn't care before, but after I had all those situations go on, it really became impossible to care to the level that I see people caring. Now, they're saying things like they're caring for the soul of the nation, or they're fighting for the soul of this nation. How many people who think they're fighting for the soul of this nation have no idea that the United States of America has been in a declared state of emergency since 12/21/17? Most of them. Because everyone I ask people, you know we're in a declared state of emergency, right? Since 12/21/17? They're like, no, why? Human rights violations worldwide. I didn't know that. Nobody knows, okay? You know? So, if you don't know that, what's the point of fighting over Joe Biden's wearing a wire, or said this, or Trump said that, or, you know? It all becomes more okay the more you prioritize your own highest, most peaceful vibration. It all becomes okay. Whatever Joe says, whatever Trump says, whatever anyone who supports either one of them says, The fact that whoever supported that one thinks that they won, whoever supported that one thinks that they won, blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on. So the ego makes the unimportant important and the important stuff unimportant. So most people would say, yes, I have a soul. Okay, what if you just stop worrying just for a day or a week or 2 days? Give yourself 2 days just to pause and not worry about the soul of this nation and work on your communion, your identification with, your alignment with the soul of your own nation. Whatever the name of your avatar body, whatever your name of your avatar is, your little meat suit there, what if you focused all your energy on the soul of that avatar nation named after you? See yourself, see your body as a country. I'm not saying don't vote. Don't vote. That's not the point at all. I'm telling you. There are people saying you got to vote for this person, and there are people saying you got to vote for that person, and then there are people saying you got to vote for the independent parties to send a message that you hate both parties. And then there are people who are, anarchists. Probably some libertarians, saying you got to stop voting because then you're just, choosing your slave master and, they're all da, 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 da. I mean, okay, so I'm saying there are so many stories out there. And no one's 100% wrong and no one's 100% right. But you get to choose what you're going to do with the time in this meat suit, in this avatar body. So right now, I happen to be using my time to put my face in the sun, make some vitamin D, why not, and take a break from writing my book. And everybody won. I just want to make a video that said, everybody won last night. I'm not making fun of any of this. It is what it is. The reason I started Renegade Yogi is to get people through this time period that's coming up. Now, a lot of people, well, not a lot, but enough people have found me and started working with me and whatnot, and they've gotten themselves to a place where they understand the whole bless all, forgive all, respect the free will choices of all, and love all, including myself, in all directions of time, in all dimensions, on all planes of existence. Okay, so there's a little group of people that get this, and someone in that group had asked me a long time ago, and I didn't have the level of respect for the question that they asked at the time they asked it, but now I do. I had started a Renegade Yogi meditation and healings group, and I also started a conservative men's empowerment group. The mission for both groups was the same, but I treated them differently because when I was a flight instructor, I had mostly male students, but I had female students, and the female students I taught differently. The men wanted to be challenged in a different way. The women, if I treated the girls, they were like 14 years old. So I had young 14-year-old girl students. Now, everybody from the first day that I was their flight instructor, they were treated the same as far as I taught them how to take off. They did the takeoff and they did the radios. I would write out what to say. So they did all the radios and they did the takeoff and they flew. And I just did and then they would assist me on the landing from day one. So control of the aircraft was not any different between male and female. But the female students, I found, if I treated them like the guys, they would go, I'm never going to understand this. But if I started them with the most basic material presented in a almost insulting intelligence kind of way, they were like, yeah. And then before they knew it, they were into the same material as the guys. And then halfway through, they would be putting it together. Whereas the guys I bring them right to the middle of the work and then go backwards and forwards because they wanted to figure it out. That was my experience as a flight instructor of young men and young women. And anyone who wants to throw a tantrum about this, you can have a problem with it. But did you teach anyone how to fly? Because by training my male and female students in the way that giving them the information is all, I just gave them the information in a different way. I presented the information in a different way. They were all excellent pilots, and they all were ready. It didn't matter gender. They were all ready pretty much by 40 hours, which is the target. So by practically insulting the intelligence of my female students, I wasn't slowing them down in any way because they were putting stuff together faster towards the middle. All right? So everybody ended up in the same place. It was just, I noticed that I had an easier time reaching the female students if they were like, yeah, that's obvious, that's common sense. And then they would roll with it. Whereas when they showed up to first fly an airplane, their initial response was, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. So in order to disarm that ego of that story of, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, I would insult their intelligence and make it obvious. And I'd be like, yeah. I'm like, well, that's all there is to it. That's all it is. I'm like, oh my God. Now, by changing the way I taught for my female students, I don't want to say that I was more proud of them. I think I was more proud of me, or it was just neat because I knew my guys would show up and they're like, they never had a doubt that they could fly. Like they showed up like, I'm going to be able to do this. The females is a different story. Anyway, enjoy your life. Enjoy politics. Enjoy voting if that's what you want. But if you don't want to vote, enjoy not voting. George Carlin said he never voted. You can do what you want. That's not why we're here anyway. We're here for the spiritual. We're here for the spiritual growth, most of us. And this is a big time right now. And so your spiritual reality is where all the gains are. Your spiritual reality is where your most bliss exists and lies. So I love you, and you are lovable. It doesn't matter who you vote for or if you don't vote at all. You're lovable now. You're worthy of love now. There's nothing you need to do or be or become to become a better person. You don't have to fight for your opinions. You don't have to fight for other people to believe your reality. You enjoy your own reality. And if you're experiencing a reality that you're not enjoying, it's time to make some changes. Okay? Move towards your highest vibrational reality. All right, love you. See ya.